So, do you guys want me to start off on mine so you sort of get an example of how terrible I can be? All right. Then I need a volunteer, someone to advance my slides. Got a stopwatch for you, a very expensive stopwatch. Just start every 20 seconds, you can just hit an arrow.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So start whenever you're ready.
So what? So if I hit that, I will hit the right.
Oh, so just hit start, and then when it hits to 20 seconds, go to the next one.
Yeah. So this is your first.
That's my first one.
Okay. So if I hit that, then it will display on the screen, will it?
Oh, it's not displaying.
Yeah.
Very good point. I just want to discuss the colour blue and what it means to me.
Is this 20 slides on Windows?
Favourite screens of Windows.
You might need to just, while it's happening, maybe just touch the screen a bit so it doesn't lock again.
Yep. Alternatively,
You got your
I
own.
might have the same devices. I might have the same.
Yeah, it's just clock. Is that better? That's better. Yep. So leave it on the first one until the 20 seconds. And let me know when to start.
Okay. Well, I'll count you down.
Count me in.
3, 2, 1.
It's a bit of a surprise. I'm going to talk about Nginx in production and how we do it with the CakePHP production servers. The reason why we went to Nginx and what it meant for us in terms of server load, what sort of users we could have, and you know everything, basically configuration and PHP and right. So we ended up getting hosting from Rackspace, and the benefit from that was we weren't just working with old servers that we had to upgrade, because that's kind of painful. You're dealing with old configurations and old setups and stuff. We had the benefit of having fresh server configuration from scratch, and we didn't have to worry about changing slides. So the evolution of the CakePHP servers, we originally started with Apache, as most people are running in production. So there was a massive server load. CakePHP was becoming more and more popular. So we considered adding more servers, but realistically it was costing a bit much and we had to change slides. So the evolution as it went on, we actually changed to light TTPD because we could use the same servers, but it was less load on the server, it was more optimal. So that was a win for us. But it started to load up again because CakePHP continued to grow and continued to be popular. So we needed another solution. So filler slides are awesome if you're going to do this. It gives me some time to catch up. So CakePHP needed to, as the Cake Software Foundation, we needed to consider where we were going, what we were going to do, and the best solution. And everyone's been talking about Nginx, so we considered that. So 2 Rackspace ones.
Yeah.
That's cheating. So with the Rackspace servers, they came to us and gave us, we've got 2 servers sitting there. We're actually only using 1 at the moment because we don't need to use another one. So we've gone from this need to have many on Apache and Lighty to just running on the 1, and we don't need to have any more at this point. So new server, fresh install. We've looked at all the hype around Nginx and thought we'd give it a try to see what the results were and whether or not that was going to work for us. And like I say, starting from scratch, if you can do it, it's great. If you can't, you can actually install Nginx and do a switch, turn Apache off, turn Nginx on, and you can continue serving the same files. So the result was a server load of 26 and above ended up being reduced, and now we have a server load of 0.3, and that's the max that we go to. We're getting around 4 million plus views per day. This is a server with 4 gig of RAM, it's 4 processors. It's a decent VPS through Rackspace. So it's a bit of a learning curve to understand the configuration. It's completely different from Apache. It's a little bit similar, but it's simpler, easier to read. So you look at them and it just kind of makes sense. It's more flexible, you can do more things. The mod rewrite is much more powerful, and it's much less overhead. Another filler slide, this is my cat, this is Nina. Obviously, when there's less people screaming at me for, the server's really loaded up, it's really slow to respond, I can spend more time with my children. So yeah, the server load dropping has been awesome. We don't need to consider upgrading or adding more servers anytime soon. So I wanted to discuss the exact setup, the exact configuration that we use. And the main configuration we have, this is probably the most complex one. We've got some information in there for gzip. We've got the amount of information we can send for files and whatnot. And we include some configurations and sites at the bottom. This common configuration just basically declines any access to .ht files, so htaccess files or htpassword files that may be floating around, as well as setting an index to index.html and htm. So the common.conf gets included in every single virtual host configuration we have, and that's like the basic settings, whether it's a static site or a PHP site. The PHP conf matches any .php file, passes it through to PHP FPM, and sets an index to index.php as well. So you're separating the static config from the PHP config, and you can actually combine them together, and that's what we do on all the vhosts. So there's also a CakePHP conf that we have. The only thing that's different about that is on the site, on the virtual host you have, rather than including php.conf, you include cakephp.conf, which includes PHP, and just does the rewriting for the rules so that you get pretty URLs. And I'm ahead of time. So I use an enabled and available and enabled setup that's similar to if you've seen Ubuntu with Apache, it has a similar setup. You have your available sites in an available directory, and then you symlink them into enabled to turn a site on or off, and then reload the server, and it makes it very simple to turn things on and off. So for each virtual host configuration you do, as you can see, it's very simple. I think it's simpler than Apache. You tell it what port to listen on, the server name, and I'm including in this case common.conf and cakephp.conf. So this is actually the same config with some changes that's running the cakephp.org virtual host. So it's very, very simple. Nginx's best friend for us is PHP FPM. So that's what processes PHP for us. It's a separate process that runs as opposed to mod PHP that gets attached to Apache. Super fast and allows you to manage different pools for different PHP configurations you might need. It's got this sort of self-managing feature that restarts itself after a certain number of requests, and you can configure that. Being CakePHP ready like that in that sort of segregated configuration makes it really nice for administration. You can look at a file and it's only got the configuration for that specific virtual host. Nothing that makes it, no extra PHP configuration or CakePHP stuff. The plain old PHP configuration as well, separating that out means that every virtual host is very simple, very easy to read. And keeping it simple is an awesome thing. It makes it easy to do your server administration. And it's really, really easy to set up new sites. So that's my presentation, I guess, on Nginx. If you haven't tried it, I suggest starting up a virtual machine, giving it a go. Have a look at these slides. That's all the configuration you need, really. And yeah, you'll see the performance increase. And yeah, that's it. Thanks very much. Thank you.
I'm going to play my free beer for that also.
Yeah.
It's free beer anyway.
Some applause for the slide changer too, please. So, whose slides are these? Oh, down here.
Talk here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll count you in.
Okay.
Ready? So 3, 2, 1. Okay.
I talk about CakePHP. CakePHP is a shell program CakePHP to call Behaviour. My English not good. Please read slide. Oh no, why not? Sorry.
There it goes. Sorry. Keep going.
My name is Kenichiro Kishida. I have some SNS account as Shizuhiko. It's difficult, called by Ken. I work in Ava system management and read web script Ruby on Rails. Do you know BDD? Right? Very? Oh, very good. This this talk about BLD framework and okay. Yeah. BLD is variable development. This is important, exactly. But this I will talk about behavior-driven development. This is right. BLD is available state, some stages using unit testing, integration testing, acceptance testing, any situations. This talk about focus, acceptance test. This unit test is like a PHP spec. This talk don't talk about PHP spec. How do you write acceptance test for CakePHP application? Using Selenium? Where is Selenium? Oh, but talk about as BLD behavior-driven development. Behaviour is clone Cucumber Ruby on Rails. Oh, it's short. For example, this scenario to acceptance test of about CakePHP blog samples. This is plain text, not require specific tools. Scenario is executable to test. The test of current PHP applications. CakePHP can call Behaviour. Behaviour is based on Symfony. Ruby on Rails submit Cucumber. Red Cucumber is convert Cake Behaviour. Require PHP unit, CakePHP, database, PHP 5.3.1 or later, Behaviour 2.x, and Minx. Install is easy. Clone from GitHub. And Minx is download from GitHub. Copy prepared file is some shell files. Configuration is too much easy. Only rewrite base URL is your application root URL. Our database setting is using test. CakePHP testing database, same settings. CakePHP testing database is only run Cake shell or web interface CakePHP testing. But Behaviour Minx is using web application. That CakePHP has two methods can be used with step file. And truncate model, get model is can using in the step files. For example, given there is post is a ASCII table style is given there says you write steps file and get that truncate model is delete all. Get model and post create, post save. You can. Let's execute it. Only cake console cake Behaviour. So result is that output is plain text or XML is using Jenkins. This is plain text style, format pretty. This is all green is success. The pretty style is same Ruby Cucumber. If you interested this slide, visit my GitHub, github.com/CakePHP. Thank you.
So I've got IRC closed now. I'll tell you when to start. I'll get
Okay.
my timer. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Burns. In terms of technology, I started out building databases and I really loved them, much more than I do the front end. And I wrote a quick article on my blog about a year ago that is by far and away the biggest hit on my blog. So I thought I'd just share a few very, very simple tips for today.
That's perfect.
Good. These are very, very basic tips. There's nothing very complex here because I didn't have time to write them up. They're very, very easy to implement. I would say they are essential and there are no downsides to putting these in on the whole, although of course you do need to look at your own particular circumstances.
Oh, that's not working. Just this one.
Okay. Why such a simple subject? Because I guess that all of us here know how to build a database. It's because I'm surprised how often they're not implemented. And in fact, even some of the scripts that Cake themselves give out don't include some of these very basic tips. And I've got a good example of somebody who wrote to me with one of my tips that they put on that sped their site up enormously. Benefits are data integrity, better performance for your site, a smaller database size, which I guess is not so important these days, and fewer fuck-ups because, you know, customers who come to you and say my data has gone, those problems will go away. Database speed is a limiting factor, missing word, because data powers your sites. You know, it generates content, it generates information. Every page that you hit has got users and permissions and they are generally stored in the database. And you can't push a turd. So if your database is not very well built, then that just goes through to the front end. And no matter what you do with sexy Java and great programming, will hide the fact that your database is shit. So you should always start at the ground, build your database correctly, and then build everything else on top of that. It's like a foundation. First thing is indexes. Indexes, as we all know, are a bit like bookmarks in the database. They help your database server find the data it's trying to find. It helps speed up single table finds. It helps for joining table together and multiple table finds, and to enforce uniqueness, among other things. They're not free. If your site is writing data much more than it is reading data, then you might want to consider not indexing so many times. But generally speaking, as an index is refreshed when you do an insert or an update or a delete, the performance gains by indexing fields are generally far better than not. Here's an example I mentioned. Somebody had an ACL that was running really, really slow. Their site was running slowly. Just by indexing the table correctly, it went down from 5,502 milliseconds to 1 millisecond, and their site just improved over instantly just by sticking indexes on. Look at your engine choice. So if you're on MySQL, the default used to be MyISAM, and you still find quite a lot of those. I would suggest looking at InnoDB. I believe it's now the default when you create a MySQL Server database. Key benefits are transactions and referential integrity. You don't get those with MyISAM, but you do with InnoDB. In case you don't know what a transaction is, you are going to do something with your database, so you start a transaction, you do your inserts, your updates, or your deletes, whatever you want to do. If it fails, or if you decide you want to stop it, you can roll it back, and then you are back to where you were. And if it's a success, you can commit it, and then your data is saved. Referential integrity, I just don't see this very much. It joins two tables. So for example, if you have a posts with an ID column, and then you have your comments with a post ID column, then you need to have a constraint which joins them together. What does this mean? It means that you can't put a comment into a post that doesn't exist, and you can't delete a post that has some comments. So that's what I mean about fewer fuck-ups. Data types, look at your data types. Here's a very simple example of an integer. Use unsigned. If you use a signed integer column, it has minus values as well as plus values, so you can see that the range is doubled if you go to unsigned. Numbers, just check. There's on the MySQL site, you can see that numbers have different ranges. Pick the most appropriate one for your data. If it's too small, you'll run out. If it's too big, you're just wasting space. Slightly ahead of the curve, I'm pleased. Auto-incrementing primary keys, caution. Every time you insert or delete a record, you're using up one of your numbers, and if you've picked the wrong data type, you can hit the maximum. And very often I see that sites are consuming those while you're developing and testing, and then you deploy to production and you're already near your max if you've picked the wrong size. Second thing is that if you do that, you might find that in production, suddenly you've hit your maximum, and your site is just saying, I can't save, and people are looking at their code trying to find out what it is, and all it is that your primary key has been hit. It's trying to insert 0 or a value that doesn't exist, and therefore the save fails. It's a very simple fix, just increase your integer size. Text fields, a car text field always stores a number of the size, so a car 40 will always store 40 characters, even if you've only imported the word number 2 in it. So you're wasting space. Varchar is generally better, and it only stores the actual numbers of characters that are put into the field. So plan of attack, first of all, include indexes and reference integrity in your database design from moment one. Use the most appropriate field sizes and types, and that just takes a bit of thinking about it. If you have got a site that's already out there and you want to improve its performance, then go back and inspect your schema, take a step back. Very often putting indexes on and some reference integrity will have dramatic impact on your site. Look at your model associations, because if you've got has and belongs to many or belongs to, they are actually your joins. Don't just leave it in PHP, go back to your database and put them in. Thank you very much. If you want to see the full article, that's the URL, and thank you. I'm done.
I'll count you in.
Okay.
You ready?
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 Oh, it's going already.
Yeah,
How's that happening?
Because I put it in a slideshow.
Oh.
Let's just miss that and go view.
You might be able to pause. Okay.
Go.
Okay. Hello, I'm Jamie Mill. Sorry about this. I only found out about these talks in the break, so was put together very quickly. I'm going to talk about Backbone.js. Anyone heard of Backbone.js? Using Backbone.js? Not too many. Good. Okay. I'm not going to actually show you any Backbone.js code because it's all online. This is specifically about a brief introduction and then how you might use it in a Cake app. So this is straight from the site. Backbone supplies structure to JavaScript-heavy applications by providing models with key value binding and custom events, collections with a rich API of enumerable functions, views with declarative event handling, blah, blah, blah. Really, why would you use it? Well, to make highly responsive, non-blocking interfaces. So if you're building a web application rather than a website, most likely you're using JavaScript, and there are a million ways you can use JavaScript, and there are good ways and bad ways, let's say it like that. Yes, okay, another great thing about it is you can move your element rendering to the client side. So whereas in Cake you might have all your elements, and if you're using a lot of Ajax, you're sending stuff backwards and forwards from the server to the client, and when something wants to update itself, you've got to make a round trip to the server. What's it good for? Send a markup. Yeah, okay. So rather than sending the same HTML backwards and forwards every single time, you can make a template, send it to the client when they first visit the site, and then the client can re-render that template a million times based on whatever events happen on the client side. So, yeah, reduces the stuff going backwards and forwards to the server, only sending data, not markup. I don't think I can make this one last 20 seconds, but...
Can you do a little dance for us?
Maybe later.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
It's switching soon.
Yeah, sorry, crap. Okay, so yeah, okay, it's got an event system, so views can render themselves when models change. Now, models might change because the user does something to it, or you might want to use WebSockets and push notifications from the server, and so a piece of the screen could just magically update itself based on something happening. Okay, before this came along, I found myself using a lot of elements and coming up with systems to request them with Ajax and have one element per part of the page and send it backwards and forwards. So, for instance, let's say you've got a to-do list, a form and a list. You might submit the form and get into trouble. Yeah, okay. Okay. When I got to know a bit more, I started making jQuery plugins, but really anything more complicated than a tiny widget can outgrow a jQuery plugin because it's difficult to separate your concerns with a jQuery plugin. You make all kinds of functions and mixture of DOM and JavaScript, it can get messy. So as Cakers, we like strict conventions, and basically Backbone is like CakePHP for JavaScript. So it tells you where to put everything, how to break it down, where the responsibilities lie. And I like being told what to do, so that really works. Okay, some specific Cake things. You need to turn Cake into a RESTful JSON API, so parse extensions and map resources. This will give you these kinds of routes, more like Rails routes. And that's what Backbone.js expects. Okay, you need to do a little bit of setup because Cake doesn't understand JSON body requests. I think I'm correct there. So we came up with this code to just read the input stream, JSON decode it, and put it in this data. Okay, and for your API, you obviously need to make JSON objects. The only difficult thing is that Cake tends to have an outer key with the model name. We don't need that. Backbone expects just a flat list of fields, so you need to strip them out or manually construct them. We're using handlebars.js for the JavaScript templates. This is a small example. This will automatically escape HTML funny characters, so it's a nice way of keeping things safe by default. And this is the only tricky bit, sending your templates to the client. I can't really explain that, but Handlebars has... you need to grab all your templates, wrap them in some JavaScript and send them to the client, and you can do this all at the beginning. And okay, relationships. Yes, Backbone.js has no concept of relationships, so it knows about models, it knows how to send them to and from the server, but it won't auto-construct related models. So some people have written some extensions to handle this, but I haven't tried them, so yeah, that's tricky. Data format, yes, it expects a flat list of keys and values, so when you're sending stuff from Cake, you need to put it in the Backbone format. And I think the rest of the slides are fillers, so give it a try. It's not hard to set up, and it will give you the fluid, responsive interface that you always wanted, I promise.
Your money back?
Oh, your money back, yeah. No, but seriously, it gives you a really good structure to work in if you're doing anything dynamic and you want a really fluid interface. It's like, yeah, it's really good. Okay?
There's one more slide. There's one more slide.
All right. Oh, good enough. Yeah, okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Thanks. You've been looking at the list, have you? Okay.
Okay. So you let me know.
Oh, yeah, just give me one sec. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so if you are expecting some really technological knowledge, you're gonna be disappointed. Because I took what Larry said seriously about it can be about everything, and I always take Larry seriously. So these slides are gonna be about things that I think suck and things that don't. So if you agree with the things that suck, if you agree with what I'm saying, you just scream yeah, and if you disagree, you just scream boo. So, okay. First thing I hate is priorities. Priorities on backtracking systems. This is no joke. This is a backtracking system that I used to have with a client, had these types of priorities, nothing else than that. This is avoid getting fired. No joke. Another thing I hate is managers. Probably not all, but I work in companies where you have, your client and then the sales manager, the customer relationship manager, the requirements manager, the IT manager, and I was down there, just having to deal with the human resources manager, which, by the way, I don't like being called a resource, so I'm a human. So I hate that. I just like coding. And one of the reasons, and one of the things that I get out of coding is XKCD. This is one of my favorite comics. If you don't know this side, you shouldn't be here. And if you know this side, well, again, scream, yeah. Boo? Oh, come on, man. So, yeah. Coffee. I love it. This is one thing that I purchased. It costs a little bit of money, but it's like my second wife, because every 10 or 15 minutes I'm going down and preparing myself a coffee or a cappuccino. Browse around for this machine. It costs a little bit of money, but it's going to make you more productive, or at least it did. It did make me productive. Trolls. Well, I think everyone here hates troll. I know one of them is sitting around there. Savant, where are you? There you are. One troll. Oh my God, this doesn't work. You keep seeing these kind of messages where they attach a zip file with 145 megabyte application and say, you need to fix this ASAP because I need to deliver or whatever. Politicians, I hate all types of politicians, so you're trying to get a debate with what kind of politicians I like, you're in bad luck. So I hate everyone, including that Italian guy that keeps getting laid. I actually kind of, jealous of him. It's not that I hate him. So probably politics is something that I should have dedicated. Seinfeld, something that I really love, and I'm actually obsessed with it. If you challenge me to a Seinfeld trivia, I guarantee that I'm gonna win. I actually can bet beers, so welcome it. I own all the CDs and DVDs and everything that has to do with Seinfeld, and I know every single line by memory, almost. Flying, I hate flying, and I have real problems with it. It's not just that I hate, the actual fact that from Argentina, everywhere is at least 10 hours away. So, it's no fun. I hate it so much that one time I spent 4 hours sitting in the bathroom because I had more leg room until someone just, knocked and said, you need to get the hell out of there. I hate hangovers. This is a picture of people the people that went to CakePHP Berlin can recognize. This is from a strip/punk joint that was in Berlin, and that was me on the stage with some woman in a sleazy outfit. It was a really bad day the next day. British pounds. I hate them because they're so fucking big. I get it. The currency is really expensive, but you don't need to make the bill bigger. The moment that I bought British pounds, I actually thought that the guy was kidding me. I don't need Monopoly money. I actually need pounds. No, these are the pounds. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, you all know this one. I don't like Apple at all. It's not that I don't like the people who use Apple products. It's that I dislike, Apple fanboys. I hope there's no one here. But, yes, Larry can vouch that I got recorded in CakePHP once saying that I was expecting donations to buy an Apple, but I never said what I was going to do with it. So it's not a testament that I like to have an Apple. Free and open source ego. I really hate the fact that on this, on open source projects, you get all these ego battles, and we had on this project and other projects a lot of issues with that. So I hate that. Symfony. Yes. I'm sorry, yes. But you have to come out and say that you like Java, that you're in PHP because you have no other choice, and you make a little bit more money with PHP, but you're coding in Java. So just switch over, come out of the closet, and be done with it. I'm sorry. I know there are some Symfony devs down there. I hate all the movies and series that deal with IT, and I think everyone can agree with me on this one. When you see someone saying, okay, we need to zoom in, and they start zooming into this picture, and then they go into the eye and they see the reflection, they go into the reflection, and from the reflection they go to the water, and from the water they can tell the color of the eyes of the murderer. I like wine. What is behind the wine? I like wine. I love this picture. It was actually the first picture that I saw on Google Pictures, so it's weird. I love wine so much that I have a little bit cellar going on, and I'm actually thinking of producing wine of my own. And if you come from anywhere other than Argentina, South Africa, Australia, the US, and and other places, you don't understand me. Football. I love football, but stop calling it soccer. It has nothing to do with what the actual sports is. And if you don't like football, you really need to get your health examined, because it's the best sport ever, and we're in England. I hate exercising. It's not that I hate, you can tell. It's not that I hate, it's not that just I hate exercising, I mostly hate going to the gyms. Because the gym environment is not my kind of scene. Sort of the same scene that we experienced 2 nights ago when we went out with John Adams and other people, and we ended up in this gay bar 2 blocks down the street. Yeah, I'm not going to explain more than that. I love knockouts. I did one of those, 48 hours coding, and if you have the opportunity to get into one, just sign on, because it sounds like weird and a lot of effort, but you're going to have a lot of fun, because you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to find out how much Red Bull you can drink. And I love you guys, because you're the community. And I love being here, and I love sharing all this knowledge with you guys, and getting to know every one of you. And I can be sweet after all. So I think that's pretty much my talk.
We got payment processing. Yep. All right.
Good speed.
The time remaining is actually increasing.
I didn't fix it. I like it. I just didn't want you to.
Okay.
Good.
When you're ready.
No way I could follow that up. Are we going?
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of applications need to accept payment processing. If they don't, then we're probably marketing some offline business or something. Most companies use authorized.net to do that, but obviously there are other providers out there. Problem is that most people don't really care about application security. There's a lot of best practices out there. There was a great talk given before about OWASP, and there's a top 10 list. A lot of people don't even have 5 out of those top 10 knocked off, let alone a lot of the others. When you're dealing with credit cards, you need to deal with PCI compliance, and it's basically a standard technical policy that regulates how you should handle credit cards. If you're not compliant, then you're probably breaking your merchant account agreement, and that has some big consequences. If you get hacked, for example, you're liable for all of the responsibility. If credit cards hit your server before you send them out to some API, and you don't know what PCI compliance is, you're probably not. Even if you do know what PCI compliance is, you're probably not compliant. It's just how it works. It's very expensive to be compliant, and it's very time consuming. If your view takes a credit card number as form field input, and then that goes to your controller, and you take the credit card number and send it over to authorized.net, that's trouble. The credit card's hitting your server, it's going out to authorized.net, credit card number is going through your server. So why not just become compliant? It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. It's a lot of programming effort in terms of making your application as secure as it should be. And there's also infrastructure updates. You need to make sure that
the infrastructure surrounding the server that takes the credit cards is secure as well. So how do you accept credit cards and avoid the cost of compliance? One way is a hosted form. Authorize.net, for example, you could send the customer off-site to Authorize.net. They fill out the credit card numbers there, and then they go back to your site. Problem is, it's very unprofessional. So how do you do it in a professional way that doesn't take the users off-site? Braintree. They're a newish company last few years out of Chicago. They're developer friendly, focused on making payments easy and secure, and no, I don't work for them. How do you do it in a, how do they do it? Transparent redirect. So what happens is you have a form on your website, someone types in the credit card information, that information goes to Braintree. Then they redirect back to you with information like, was it successful, was it not, if it wasn't, here are the errors. And you could do stuff with that. So they're new. Authorize.net's been around forever. How credible is Braintree? Well, it's quite transparently used by a lot of very prominent companies. GitHub, 37 Signals, Airbnb, OpenTable, a lot of Web 2.0 companies use them exclusively for their payment processing. So that's all great, but what about Cake? Why am I presenting this here? I have a CakePHP plugin for Braintree, so you could really easily integrate it into your Cake app. That's the URL. If you could, if 20 seconds is enough time to type it in, check out the wiki for documentation. I implement the Braintree Vault. The idea of the Vault is that when a customer types in their information, it's getting stored with Braintree. It gets stored indefinitely, and you can make charges against that credit card at any point. So it's really flexible, and that's the method I decided to use for the Cake implementation. So how does the plugin implement the Vault? It uses a synchronization approach. Data is stored both remotely and locally. And the reason I did that is so that the application wouldn't have to constantly query the API in real time while the user's on the page. So, fast access to data equals happy application equals happy user. So you plug in your API credentials, and you probably can't see that, which is too bad, but in the controller, you're basically getting or creating a customer ID using a Braintree customer model that talks to the API directly, so you know it's abstracted. That shouldn't be there. I don't know what happened there.
Do you want me to quickly check the slides?
That should have been the last one. I don't know.
That's 15.
What's the next one? Okay. In your view, there's an element that's part of the plugin that lets you just really easily send a bunch of configurations to it and render out a credit card form. And then you could style that form however you like. I'd start going through the options, but I'll get cut off in 3 seconds, so it's not worth it. Back in your controller, when Braintree redirects back to you, there needs to be a way for your application to pick that up and know that, oh, we got a Braintree redirect, so what do we do with it? So you set this callback, you set this component up, and you tell it what action to expect a redirect from Braintree on, and then the component will automatically do all the work to process that result and send the error over to the action or redirect the user onto the next page. You could also use it in a really advanced way. You could extend that component, and then you could overwrite certain methods or add to certain methods. So on success, for example, if you want certain things to happen that the component in the plugin would normally do, you could just extend it and put your custom logic right there. What needs improving? There are no unit tests. I know, shame on me, laziness, whatever, but there's no unit tests. They need to be there. There also should probably be support for non-vault functionality. I took the vault approach because I thought it was the most flexible, and it is, but some people just want to create transactions directly or set up traditional recurring payments without having to store the credit card number, and they should be able to do that. Creating a transaction with vaulted credit card information. So once the credit card comes back, we get a token for that credit card. It gets stored in the database. So you could just boot up the Braintree transaction model and call the save method, pass along the customer ID, the credit card ID, and some other information, including the amount that...
That's the end.
Okay. Anyway, including the amount you want to charge. And that 15 should have been the last slide.
That would have been the last slide, yeah. That was good. That was good. Skylight. So start whenever you're ready.
Sure. Go. Hi. Skylight. It's a all-in-one tool to manage your work life. We started it a couple of years ago, 2009. We've been in beta since 2010 June, and it has 5,000 businesses on it currently. It's built on Cake and various other technologies. And that's our logo. It has standard features that you will expect in any project management collaboration tool. Projects, milestones, stages, calendars, budgets and scheduling, tasks, task lists, time logs, rates, how much you charge, how much it costs you, files, Google Apps, Google Docs integration, invoices, codes and purchase orders, reporting, and that was it. Dashboard is fully customizable. It allows you to drag and drop. All the information you need to do your work is accessible from one page. You can switch the widgets on and off, and you can quickly search and filter them as well on the same page. So it gives you access to all the critical information you need to do your work, which includes projects. You have that lovely green taskbar, which shows you how many tasks are complete or incomplete. Tags are available to match resources, contacts, things in your system like files. You have project calendars. Overview gives you a quick, this was very fast. Project scheduling is coming out with new updates. It has very interactive drag and drop calendars. You can see how much you've budgeted, how much you've scheduled in terms of times and hours, and what is your actual log time is on each project. You can see a task view, and as well as on the left-hand panel, as well as a resource view and contact view. Contacts, you have basic information about contacts, their social profiles, their contact information. You also can match projects with the tags, and you have recent activity and comments on each model in the system, including contacts. So you can see who said what when. Task widget from the dashboard, quickly search. You can have a quick start and stop timers. You can have drop downs which actually show you more information in that in terms of more actions you can take from it. Add a comment. It's not showing there. You can even add files and introduce Google Docs in there. Files in Skylight can be anything from Google Docs to multimedia, images, MOV files, audio files. You can do commenting on them. You can attach them to various models in the system. And you can also tag them so that you can create your own customized grouping of data. And they, invoices, codes, and purchase orders. You can create that by project. You can convert your time into quick, by 2 clicks, into invoice or a quotation if you have used the scheduling system or budgeting system in Skylight.
You're using up your time.
Tags is one way of grouping data in Skylight. So you can create your custom tags. You can create custom groups. And you can color code them, which is a visual way of distinguishing your group of data or the tags you've used. Tags, you can match your resources and your contacts. Resources can be your equipment, rooms, locations, anything, and your services. Filters are available on your list views, which are fully customizable. You can create variable combinations of them, and you can recall them, the saved filters. So you don't have to, if you want to see all your incomplete tasks, you don't have to go and search for them or switch the filter on and off. You can click on a button, all your save filter, and come up. Other features that we are coming up in the coming weeks: calendar sharing, Google Contact Sync, Mailchimp Contact Sync, GitHub integration, moving to Node.js possibly, and using more Backbone, Google widgets, social media integration, and various things. That's my picture up there, and that's a bit about me. I ran out of slides, so I thought I'll just bung this in. This is something that I've done. I've been in media and television and films for the past 22 years. I've worked across the globe. I've made films all over the world, and I've worked with virtually every known channel. And that's Jamie. He's one of our co-founders, and lead developer and technical director, and that's a bit about him. Yeah.
That's a lot about him, yeah.
CNN, Endemol, he's done music. Fahad started with us earlier in the year, and since then he's been contributing to a lot of new features that are coming up. He sort of dreams about being a VFX artist one day. And he is known in the dev world as Fahad 19, though he's not 19 anymore. Again, I ran out of slides, so I thought I'll just put a front end of the website up there. So there is our website. It's on WordPress. And yeah, I spend a lot of time looking at it from time to time. These things do move around on the website, by the way. They sort of flick left and right. We are still in beta, so I thought I'll put our pricing up. It's free currently. We are not charging anyone. We are going for a launch later on in the month, and we shouldn't be charging in dollars. Most probably yen, the way things are going. But we have prices in dollars there. That's something. It's a nice figure. 5,000 businesses. We sort of get around 300 through 250, 300 regular users coming back to use the system, and it's consistently growing the returning user base. Skylight is used by freelancers, small businesses to large organizations. We have some recruitment, talent management companies up there as well, creative agencies and boutiques and designers, basically across the board. So, it's not just one sector or the other, but we thought that our vertical was in the creative sector. Special thanks to PHP, CakePHP for letting me put this presentation up.
And start when you're ready.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm doing a presentation about a little helper I made this week, and I thought maybe it's something to share with you. I created some form inputs, and I needed to set the titles every time in the input method, so I based it off the schema. Who is this guy with plain hair? My name is Mark Ipes. I'm from the Netherlands, known as CRM in the channel and Twitter. Been using Cake for a few years now. Started in 2008 and reached it. You read it. This is the start of the helper I did. Just extends the form helper. Also extended the core test classes, so made sure I didn't break anything. All it does in fact is overrides the input method, executes let's go fast. Well, this is the whole helper. It just injects some titles and label titles for the input methods based on the model scheme. There's a few ways how to set it in the schema. I will show you a little bit. This is how you can alias helpers in 2.0. You can just replace the form by this form, and it will use this helper instead of the core one. So we don't have to change the code to try it out. Well, we had to make 20, so I put in some cats. I don't have cats myself, but found this one, so hope you like it.
That's the same car as you.
Okay, well, this is form input, well, just plain input methods. Of course, there's a form create in front of it. It just took out this part. I have name, body, published. Nothing else, just using that. Don't define the title. Hey. Okay, format is a little bit. Format was better in the slide I had, but you can see now it has title in the label and it has title in the inputs for the name field and content field. Where does it get it from? If you define a schema in your model, you just add title and label title. The form helper will introspect the model and it will inject these keys in the input. I didn't do it for the publish, so it won't touch the... Yeah, another one. I think this one...
Correct, this one looks like...
I think this one looks more like me. I don't bite. Well, yeah. I don't know if it's a cat even. So I did a little behavior to make it easier, because you don't want to define all your schema in every model. It should read it from the database. So if you define the schema without the underscore and just put the field title, label title, it will inject it. If you set it up, add the behavior, you can set default values for it. So if you attach to add model, you can set for every name field that it will set, this is the whatever the label you would like for default. Downside of it, I couldn't override the schema function within the behavior, and I cannot write to the protected attribute. So I had to do this to inject it into the schema. You can find the code for this on my GitHub account. There's a little README. I could have just put it up, the README, and sit back for 20 slides. Not, oh, yes. We're at 15, so a little thank you already, and I think there might be coming some cats, maybe. Let's see what will bring us. I know what's coming. So the tell for me in the channel is I'm undercover as a programmer, and actually I'm a salesman. I'm not a programmer by profession. So let's wait for the next one. Could be.
After a few beers.
This one was contributed by ADMAD, by the way. He said, you should tell him that. I think, well, I think I will.
Yes.
Yeah, I never know where he comes from. He's bugging me all the time, so I think I'll put him in. I think my talk might be a waste of your time, but at least I got something out of it, because this is my first time on stage talking to people, and I hope I got something out of it. Yeah. Keep bugging. I actually think this is the last one.
Yes.
Sorry?
What?
Okay. Now, okay, we're on 20, so that was it. Thank you very much. That's really good. Very good.
I think that's actually got us through the whole lot. Did you have?
Yeah,
you sent me an email. All right. Do that.
You're okay, I'm going now.
yeah, good.
And go.
Alright, everybody knows me on Cake channel. I'm Dogmatic. I've been working on Infinitus for the last 18 months, 2 years. So I'm going to show you guys what I've done for drawing charts. And you can get the code there. Okay, so there's a bunch of design patterns that can be used in PHP and coding in general. Some of them are good, some of them not as good, and generally used in moderation, they stay good. So if you find a cool design pattern, try not to use it too much. So the one that we're talking about is the adapter patterns. Does anyone know adapter patterns? Cake has a few throughout the core. There's like the JavaScript engine, which uses a similar kind of thing, and the DBO also. So everything where you can just like switch what you're using, MySQL, Postgres, all that stuff. And new in Cake, in the authentication, there's something like that where you can switch how your application uses authentication, like basic auth or ACL. The problem with abstraction, if you have a look at this, like Cake DBO is a big round circle, and you have the functionality of each database in the blue circles. With the abstraction, you miss out on a little bit of each one so that you have the subset of common stuff, and then just needed to fill up a bit of space. Because
that's what cats look like in South Africa.
everyone was putting cats, so figure need something else to look at. In a bit of broccoli. So the chart engine is like on the third rewrite that I've done. It started off as a really simple API to the Google Charts because it's like almost impossible to use it like normally. The second version was the more complete coverage of the API, and the third one was the engine system. So this is how you build up charts with the static charts, like a whole bunch of serialized data in the URL, or you can do forms as well. But you do a bunch of stuff like that, passing parameters, and it builds you out an image so you're just using image tags in your HTML. So with the chart engine, you can use firstly any chart library. You can build like your own engine. The code in the views is exactly the same, no matter what you're coding. You can switch engines on the fly using like one engine for a chart and the next chart use another one. And this is basically what it does. Have the model code that does find, and then there's a method that manipulates the data, formats it into something like that, which is passed. So you have this code that's always the same, no matter what engine you're using, and you get a graph out looking something like that. There's an example of a bunch of charts, bar charts, line charts, from the Google Charts library that's all generated using that. And you know what's coming next?
5 seconds.
Yeah, like all pretty colors and stuff. Yeah. So the reason to do this is like the chart libraries are good for certain things. Like in the views you have fancy JavaScript ones. If you want PDFs, you need static ones like the Google stuff. And you could even build charts for terminal, something like in HTOP if anyone uses that. You can easily create like a engine for that. So this is like kind of what you do. At the top is the HTML engine that generates charts using tables and stuff. And down the bottom is the Google Charts one. So it's like exactly the same code that generates that. These are the main classes that's involved in it. There's a data manipulation lib, which just formats the data sort of and gets medians and averages and all kinds of stuff like that. There's a base chart engine helper, which is just an abstract class with empty functions. And then there's the charts helper, which does all the formatting and stuff. So these are like some of the empty functions in the abstract class that you can extend. And then whichever ones you want to implement, you just overload those. You extend this class, overload them, and put in your code, and you get all the correct data and stuff that you need to build the chart. And then this is like in the manipulation stuff. It formats all the numbers out of the database. It uses a lot of set extract to get the numbers out, and then a bunch of maths to get medians and averages, and all kinds of stuff like that. Fill in missing values, like if you're doing. Okay, here's examples of sort of what you would do, like the API for it. You can switch the engine in the helper options, or you can do it passing it into the method, switching which one you want. Everything's cached. It's all done by the main chart engine class. It hashes all the data that's passed into it in the beginning, checks if there's anything. If there's not, it will process all the data, let your thing render, and then save it. So the next time it will find a match and then just return the cached version. And then just didn't need to waste too much time, but couldn't get that many slides, so this one's pretty good. Watermelon cat.
When you don't have anything to talk about, the 20 seconds is a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Infinitus needs a designer. We don't really have a designer, so if you could, if the developers didn't have to do that. So if anyone wants to join us, we're on Freenode Infinitus channel. So cool, nice open source project for you to do on the weekends. Don't have anything else to do. So that's that. 20 slides.
Yep.
Well done.
Thanks very much. I think that's everyone. Did I miss anyone? Has anyone built one in the time we've been sitting here? No? Trying to?
Savant's got one.
Are you really working on one? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Remember to close your point slides that you looked at just now.
All right, hold on, give me a second. Let me kill ADM or whatever. Ah. Okay, play. So here's some awesome plugins for CakePHP. What do I have to do? What? Oh, this won't only be CakePHP plugins. There'll be some other awesome stuff there. So the next slide should explain what it's about. Awesome also is a plugin. I'm gonna go over 20 seconds, 20 minutes. What is this? Come on, hurry up.
Thought it was 20 hours.
Oh my god. CakePHP is a framework, yeah, it's great. What is, okay, there I am, right? That's not me, by the way. You're gonna get this exact slide tomorrow. There was this slide today, except it was not Mark's story. So that was a picture of Mark's story. I work at CP, I rant, harass, code, etc. That's me drinking, I got iced. That was a bad day, bad day, bad day. You know what icing is? Oh shit. So that's me playing violin. I actually can't play the violin very well, and we were trading images, me and Predominant, or Graham, Larry?
Predom.
We were trading images on Twitter, and he kind of beat me because he has too many instruments. But I was crying him a river. Yeah, that was a great night, great night. I had 3 or 4 instruments, I think. That was great. So Awesome. Awesome is a really cool plugin. You can pretty much statically access your user wherever you are in your application. And I kind of have an example here where it's implemented, blah, blah, blah. And I automatically get the currently logged in user. It's great, you should use it. You can just call awesome get anywhere in your application. And if you want the user, there you go. Here's a picture of Yingling. Yingling is my favorite beer. It's really awesome, great beer. Other than Patriot Ale, if you've ever not been to New York City and you're gonna go in the future, the Pecha Ale House is a great place to go. I highly recommend it. Everyone who's ever been there will also recommend it, right? Right, Larry? Yeah?
Absolutely not.
See? No? What is this? What is this? All right, that's a picture of me in Puerto, no, that wasn't Puerto Rico. That was in Brazil. That was a bad night. I don't remember what was happening. I don't even know that girl, to be honest. Yeah, that must have been a great night. Never mind, that wasn't a bad night. That was a great night. I have that's a Green Army Jack from China. Oh, hey, what? This is a search plugin by CakePHP. It's pretty awesome. Everyone says it's awesome. Basically, you define a bunch of ways you can filter your model, and then you just call find blah 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 search. You're going to use this for paginating data, etc. And it's really easy to attach related models, etc. This is me at last Cake Fest. As you can tell, I'm very upset, very upset. That's my green jacket. You see that right there? That guy looks familiar. He's over there. Yeah. Hey, what's your name again? Yeah. Ichi. What? Ichi. Yeah. That was the only girl who was at Cake Fest. She's not here anymore. Lazy Model by Fally. Where's Fally? Is Fally here?
No.
Oh, he's not here. Anyways, if you're in CakePHP 1.2 or 1.3 and you want lazy models, this is the way to go. It won't do lazy loading like in controllers, but if you have a ton of relationships, that'll take care of you. It will literally cut your load in like half in some cases. That's actually my profile picture on Facebook. Yeah, it's a cat. Kermit. Has anyone ever seen this picture before? Yeah, no? No? Why not?
People don't want you on Facebook.
I have plenty of friends, like 400 friends, like 100 friends, like 3 friends. I have friends. Yeah. So cats, they're pretty cool. Everyone has a cat. Yeah, it was Shark Week once, and I went on Photoshop and made some pictures. It was great. Haters gonna hate. Oh, get it. Yeah. And there's also a couple pictures. If you look for this up, the first link for that, Haters Gonna Get 8, is actually one of my coworkers. He totally SEO bombed me. There's another picture of Yingling. It's a very great beer. I highly recommend it. It's actually, the Yingling brewery is the oldest brewery in the US. So they obviously know what they're doing, otherwise they'd be out of business. They actually have a little logo of a birdie. You see that? It's an eagle. It's great. Good beer. Fantastic. This is 26. Okay. Acid Compress by Mark Story. It's a very good plugin for compressing all of your JS and CSS files. There was a re-implementation by the debuggable guys. I have no idea why they created that because there was already this, and this is pretty awesome. You can define your compression stuff in an asset compress any file in your config folder. Here's a picture of my tattoo. I saw some guy say, oh, yeah, it's pretty awesome, right? Yeah. I wasn't drunk. I had to actually make an appointment to make this to get this tattoo done 3 days in advance, and they told me I couldn't make the appointment drunk or show up drunk. And the entire time, the guy is listening to Charlie the Unicorn theme song while he's painting my tattoo. Debug Kit. It's another good plugin that you should probably use if you've never tried it. It basically gives you a bunch of debug information about your application. You can see the current requests, the SQL queries that are being performed, the variables that you have in your view, and it's very extensible. You can actually make your own panels for it. There's an interactive panel. You can have a panel for your current migrations, etc. Here's a picture of me after I played 21 Cup. 21 Cup, you basically have 2 teams, and you're playing off against someone on the other side, and you have to like dive for the ball. It's like flip cup and whatever. And I was a designated diver. So my knee was pretty banged up after that. That was actually an office party. It's bad night. Code check. So CakePHP has a bunch of conventions that we should follow. That way our code can be used by the CakePHP developers. Code check is a shell that basically runs through your application and tells you where it is that you're not following code conventions, and will actually give you the replacements and automatically do all of that for you. So it's a great thing if you already have an app. Here's Jose Lorenzo. That's not me, by the way. It also doesn't look like him at all. Where is this picture taken?
It doesn't look like him at all.
Dude.
You Photoshop yourself?
Yeah, what was this? Where's this from? How long ago is this? That's some good ass hair.
Like a soap opera.
That's awesome hair. Look, you see that? That's curls. Rescue plugin. The rescue plugin is great. If you want delayed jobs, I actually have a Cake DJ job thing which does background jobs. But if you want to shove things into rescue instead, then this is a great plugin for it. The guy who actually made this is doing Lithium development, and when he was looking at my plugin, he was like, why are you putting things into databases? He was shoving in like 70,000 characters into a text field. Here's another picture of Yingling. Yingling is a great beer, by the way. It's a fantastic beer. Like, if you haven't tried it before, I highly recommend just buying a ticket to the US and going to get Yingling beer. It's at pretty much every single bar and restaurant that you'll be at, right? And yeah, you need to try it. I would have bought some, but it can't really bring alcohol in my suitcase. That's done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Your laptop.
Larry, do we have any giveaways? Or are we doing that after dinner?
I got these books right now. I don't know where the iPad is.
How convenient.
I'm serious about that.
It's very convenient.
I've got the Trustees, first generation one. I have no need for the nice shiny iPad 2. The sad thing is I've given away what, like 9 of them this year, and I don't even own one myself yet. Mariano brought some books, and I told everybody who was here for the conference that this is probably the only book, well, it is actually the only book that's been written in American English. As far, yes, it does. And this is the only one that I would recommend out of all the books that have been written for PHP. There's a lot of Japanese books, though, that if I could read and understand Japanese, I would probably recommend those too. And what's a rough count on the number of Japanese PHP books? Do you know?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
There's 13 that I know of.
There's 13?
13?
Okay. But I've got 3 of these books, and I'm trying to find out if I can get a discount on a downloadable version too. And if I can, you know, let us know. If somebody doesn't walk away with a hard copy tonight, if you want a downloadable version, let me know. If I can get a discount on it, I'll get you a copy of that too. So, you know, it is a good readable book if you can sit through reading program code all the time. But who's interested in one of these? You've got one already. Wow, there's a lot. Okay. So who wants to like put this in their luggage and take it home with them if they've got to leave this great country?
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
They're knuckle boxing for it.
Knuckle boxing? Huh?
You need to give the symphony guy.
I think the symphony guy does. Yes, definitely. Here, come up here. That's a gimme right there. And you have to read it. You have to read it and write a review on Amazon for it too.
Yeah. All right. It's actually come to a good side, of course.
All right. I'm not going to do the name tag thing like I did. There's like way too many. I think we need to take that iPad back though and redo it because all the ones that's stuck in the ceiling.
For anyone that wasn't here for the workshops, Larry threw up name tags to draw for the iPad, and about 3/4 of them got stuck in the roof and he didn't realize.
But my eyes were closed. I think who's...
You have a nice bag that you took the books out of. You can put the badges in there and draw.
That's going to take too much. I'm getting hungry. Who's like...
Fight for it.
Let's... Here.
Why don't you just make a race? First one to get to the stage and take it out of your hand.
Like who's the youngest person here? I mean, no, you're such a liar. No, you're not.
What's Fahad?
Fahad.
And he's only 19.
Are you? Are you 19?
I'm 21 now.
Do you get a new Twitter username every year? Lose all your followers.
Did you have a copy of the book?
Yes.
Do you want a copy? If you don't want a copy.
I didn't shake this.
I'll shake your hand afterwards. It wasn't because you're a Symphony developer.
I have an idea. Let's vote for the best Pecha Kucha talk.
Oh, good idea.
That's a good idea. So I'll run through. You get your own book.
Thanks, man.
If you were to vote for him, who would you?
If I was.
We don't have names associated with the slides here, but yeah, mine's there. You know, we can go via applause. So I'm going to skip myself. So we had CakePHP. So we can just go. I don't know. Maybe show of hands. Like if you want to vote for that one,
Just
hands
make
up.
him go over there. That's easier.
Huh?
You're pointing. Let's make him go over here, and you're pointing with your finger and
We making a plan?
Build a cake app to collect the votes.
We had the form titles talk, and actually stand up if it was yours. It was,
Are we applauding or raising hands?
stand up if it was your talk,
Stand up.
and hands up if you want to vote for that person as a best. Oh, you can clap. You can clap. Okay. What do you say? No clapping. There we go. Some applause at the back. We had database streaming. That was Jeremy Burns. Was Jeremy? You know how this works, don't you? You have to stop at some point. Jamie Mill, Backbone JS. I think Mariano's exempt. But let's get some applause for that one anyway.
Why don't we give him the book and let him decide who to give it to?
Can I get the iPod, right?
No. You might become an Apple fan.
Payment
now.
processing, that was, where's payment? Down here, just stand up so we can see. And we had Skylight. Down here. Based off that, I think that goes to its.
I've already got a copy, so.
Oh, see, I don't have your slides, so I did. And we had that guy, whoever he is. I think it goes down the front here because that was a fairly good.
I've already got a copy.
You've already got a copy, okay.
You're going to give to whoever you want then.
How do we choose?
That didn't work.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Jamie? You don't have a copy of the book, do you? Everyone seems to have a copy of the book.
iPad, we'll give that away at dinner.
Yeah, so we've got an iPad to give away at dinner. There's going to be just a very short, boring talk from me, just thanking our sponsors and whatnot. We'll give away the iPad. We've got a 3-course meal. They're actually having trouble with the keg, but they promised me they'd have it going. And yeah, we've got drinks on the bar as well. So we've got a bit of a break until then. Dinner is scheduled to start at 8, so we've got a couple of hours. Until then, there's, like I say, drinks on the bar. Feel free to hang out. And
Is the dinner here or?
the dinner is here in the same room that we have lunch and everything. So
They're going to get the cake going.
well, we'll see what happens.
We end up having money back. There's no money left on that tab we have. And people were using that tab earlier today. And I don't know.
There's still money on the tab. That's what they said to me at the bar earlier today. Well, there's more on the bar tonight.
Okay, that's why I didn't know if they made our report or taking it off, or if that was going to be engaged after.
I know you would, but you also wouldn't be running a half marathon. I love the fact that you're running.
Yeah, well, it was more like it happened. I did maybe consider it this morning. How much gives us the views.